0a. Evaluate 10 minus 2 times 3. This is basically giving you a little bit of exercise in bed math, right? Brackets, exponents, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So since multiplication comes before, you do that first, and then you would do the subtraction. So it would be 10 minus 2 times 3, which is 6, and then 10 minus 6 is 4. Let t. So in these types of questions, t is the answer to the previous question. So t is going to be 4, since the previous question's answer was 4. What is the area of a triangle with the base 2t and height 3t plus 1? So the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So base in this case is 2t, and the height is 3t plus 1. And then substitute that fact that t is equal to 4. So it would be 1/2, 2 times 4 times 3 times 4 plus 1. And that looks to me like, if you crunch out these numbers, 52. 1c. So t, therefore, is 52. In the diagram, ABC is isosceles with AB equal to BC. If BAC is t degrees, what is the measure of angle ABC in degrees? So AB is equal to BC, so that means that's how it is isosceles. And BAC is t, so that's also t. That's the property of isosceles triangles. And t is 52. So ABC, that angle, plus t would be equal to 180, since the sum of the angles of a triangle are 180. And we know that t is 52, so angle ABC plus 52 is 180. And when you solve for angle ABC, you will get 76. If x to 6 is the same as 15 to 10, the ratio, what is the value of x? X over 6 is the same as 15 over 10, so cross multiply 10x, hold on here. Yeah, 10x would be 6 times, well actually let me just reduce it to 3 over 2. It makes the cross multiplication easier. 2x is 18, and then x is 9. So just give yourself a little bit easier calculation. So the t here would be 9, since that's the previous answer. And they're saying that 3 times x plus 5 over 4 is equal to t plus 3 minus 3x over 2. What is the value of x? So we got to do some algebra here. Not a problem. So 3x plus 15 over 4 is equal to t, which is 9, plus 3 minus 3x over 2. So we have to do this algebra. So now that would mean 3x plus 15 over 4. And then I'm going to bring this guy over. And then I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 2 to get the common denominator. 6x over 4 is 9. Okay, so let's do this algebra now. 3x plus 15 minus 6 plus 6x when you take it out of the bracket. So 3x plus 15 minus 6 plus 6x, and then 4 times 9, that's 36. You just cross multiply there. So this is 9x plus 9 is 36. So 9x is 27, and therefore x is 3. T this time would be 3, the answer to the previous question. The y-coordinate of the vertex of the parabola of the equation y is equal to 3x squared plus 6 root mx plus 36 is t. What is the value of m? Well, in order to get the vertex of a parabola relatively easily, the equation has to be in this form. And some of you may remember this form. Y is equal to x minus h squared plus k. If it is in that form, you can conclude that the vertex is hk. Now, this question is asking for the y-coordinate of the vertex, so they're really just asking for this guy, this k. So our task is to get that into this form, and that should not be too bad. So let's put this in here. 3x squared plus 6 root mx plus 36. Okay. All right, so now how do we get it into this form here? We have to do something called completing the square. And some of you may remember, complete the square. So here we go. So first thing you do, you got to factor out the coefficient in front of the x squared. So it's 3 in this case. So you got x squared plus 2 root mx. And then you don't need to do it for the last, only for the ones that have the x in it. And now completing the square involves looking at this coefficient, the coefficient in front of x. So I'll put it on the side here. It's 2 root m, right? Take half of it, which would be root m, and then square it, which would be m. So take half of this coefficient and then square it. And then what do you do with that? Well, you tag it on. So you tag it on here, plus m like that. But obviously you can't do that in an equation. You have to, whatever you added, you have to subtract. And so you do that. Now at first it might seem a bit pointless, but this allows you to factor. Now watch the magic here. Those three terms factor beautifully now into x plus root m squared. And you can verify that by expanding it. And then don't forget this and this guy need to be kicked out of the bracket, minus 3m plus 36. So there we go. We got it into this form. And we want this k guy. So this k is right here. So I'd like to keep it in the same page. That k is minus 3m plus 36, and that's what they want. They want that, and they're saying that it's is t. It's equal to t. Okay. Well, my t is 3, so minus 3m plus 36 is equal to 3, and this will allow me to solve for the value of m. So that means that 36 minus 3, which is 33, is 3m, and therefore m is 11. So 11 is the answer to this question. What is the sum of the x-intercept of the line with the equation 20x plus 16y minus 40 is 0, and the y-intercept of the line with the equation 20x plus 16y minus 64 is 0? X-intercept of that. So to get the x-intercept, you have to set y equal to 0. So that would make 20x minus 40 is 0. Therefore, x is 2. Y-intercept of this guy. To get the y-intercept, you have to set x to 0. So 16y minus 64 is 0. So y is 4. And then they want the sum of those two guys. So you have to take this and add it to that. And 2 plus 4 is 6. So t in this question would be 6, the answer to the previous question. In the diagram, point C is on BD. Triangle ABC is right angled at B. Triangle ACE is right angled at C. If triangle CDE is right angled at D, and AB is 2t, and BD is equal to D is equal to 9t, and the BC-CD ratio is 2 to 1, and the area of ACE triangle is K, what is the value of K over 36? Let's label this. Let's see here. AB is 2t, right? And t is 6, so AB is 12. And then BD and DE is 9t, so that's 54. So this is 54, and this whole thing is 54, this B to D. And then BC to CD is 2 to 1 ratio, so that means B to C would be 36, and C to D would be 18. And I think that's it. And then this is K, the area. So with Pythagoras, we can figure out AC squared. That's going to be 12 squared plus 36 squared. And therefore AC would be 1440 root. And in a very similar way, we can figure out EC. EC squared would be 18 squared plus 54 squared, again using Pythagoras. And therefore EC is 3240 squared. And therefore the area of triangle ACE would be 1/2 base times height. So the base is AC, so 1440, and then the height is EC, so multiply that by 3240. And when you do this math, you would get K, right? Yeah, because K is representing the area. But we want 1/36 of K. So this whole thing times 1 over 36. And that would give me my answer once I substitute. Actually, no, I don't need to substitute anything. I just have to crunch out those numbers. Okay, so this looks like this half and this 36 give me 1 over 72. And the 1440 times the 3240 would give me 4665600, all under the square root sign. And that's going to be 2160 over 72, and that is 30 is the answer. T in this question would therefore be 30, answer to the previous question. One cylinder has a radius of root 2 and a height of a. Another cylinder has a radius of root 5 and a height of b. How many pairs of positive integers a, b are there so that the sum of the volumes of the two cylinders is 10 pi t? Volume of the first cylinder, pi r squared times height. The radius in this case, root 2. The height is a. Volume of the second cylinder, pi r squared times height. The radius in this case is root 5, and the height in this case is b. So they want V1 plus V2, the two volumes, to equal 10 pi t. All right, so let's put this in. Let's plug everything in. Pi r squared a. V2 pi root 5 squared b, and then 10 pi, and then t is 30. All right, so we plugged it all in. The pi's all disappears since we can just divide through by pi and get rid of it. So this will be 2a plus 5b is equal to 300. Okay, so now we just have to find integer solutions to that guy. So let's make a table, a and b, and let's see what happens. So what are our criteria for a and b? They're positive integers. Okay, that's it. There's no other parameter other than the fact that they're positive. Okay, so let's start with the smallest positive integer, which is 1. And when you plug it into this guy, you'll get 59 point something. So it's not an integer. The first time I think you get an integer is with 5, and you get 58. And then every 5 you'd get an integer value for b. So like that. And then you keep on going like this. And then I think the final integer value, since it's going down by 2's, would be 2 and then 0. And then 0 would be when it's 150 for a and 145 for a when b is 2. So really you're just interested in these guys. They're the only positive integer solutions. So from 2 to 58, but every other one, so that'd be 58 divided by 2, so that's 29 pairs. That would satisfy the equation. Let a be the largest positive integer so that a to the power of 3 is less than 999. Let b be the smallest positive integer so that b to the power of 5 is greater than 99. What is the power of a minus b? A to the power of 3 is less than 999. So in your calculator, take the cube root. That would mean a is less than 9.99. And they want the largest such a. And it's an integer, so the largest a that would satisfy that would be 9. Correct? In a very similar way, this time b to the 5 is greater than 99. So take the fifth root of both sides, and we would get approximately 2.5. And want the smallest positive integer to satisfy that, and I believe that would be 3. So therefore, a minus b would be 9 minus 3, which is 6. Over the winter, Oscar counted the birds in his backyard. He counted 3 different types of birds: sparrows, finches, and cardinals. 3/5 of the birds that he counted were sparrows. 1/4 of the birds that he counted were finches. If Oscar counted exactly 10 T cardinals, how many sparrows did he count? T in this case was 6, right? Yeah, 6. So let's see, we have sparrows, finches, and cardinals, and that's the total number of birds, right? And then let's see here, 3/5 of the total is the sparrows, and the finches are 1/4 of the total. So the cardinals would be the total, which I will denote as B, which I've already denoted as B, minus the number of sparrows, minus the number of finches. Yeah. And then what else do we know here? The number of cardinals is 10t. Okay, so this number is 10t. So 10t. Okay, and then we'll solve for B, and then finally we'll be able to solve for that guy. Okay, not a problem. Okay, so this equation would be getting a common denominator, 20b minus 12b minus 5b all over 20, and that's 10t, and 10t, t was 6, right? So that's that. So this is going to be 3b is 60 times 20, and then when you solve for b, you will get 400, I believe. Yeah. And then, of course, we're not done. We have to figure out the number of sparrows, which is 3b over 5. So that's going to be 3 times 400 over 5, which is 240. So 240 is the answer to this question. And we are at the very end now of these relay problems. So t is 240. A large theater has 20 rows of seats. Each row after the first row contains 4 more seats than the previous row. If there are 10 T seats in total, how many seats are there in the first row? We have row 1, row 2, row 3, and all the way down to row 20, correct? And let's just say the first row has n seats. The second row would have 4 seats, 4 seats more. And then the next row would be 4 plus 4. Got it? Which really could be written as n plus 4 times 2. And this could be written as n plus 4 times 1. And then let's just put in one more. R4 would be n plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, which is obviously written as n times 4 times 3. And then all the way down to R20, that would be n plus 4 times 19, I believe, if you follow the same pattern. And they're saying that when you add up all these guys, this is just n. So when you add up all these guys, it equals 10t. So 10t, and t is 240. So that basically would mean 2,400. Yeah. Okay, let's do it. So we got n plus 4 plus n plus 4 times 2 plus n plus 4 times 3. You get the point. Plus dot 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 all the way to n plus 4 times 19, and that all equals 2,400. Okay, so all the n's, there's 20 n's, so I'm confident about that. And then how do you add all these 4s? Well, factor out the 4. You factor out the 4, you get 1 plus 2 plus 3. There was a 1 here, a 2 here, a 3 here, all the way till 19. Like that. Okay, and you guys know how to add consecutive numbers, right? There's that formula, consecutive numbers. N times n plus 1 over 2. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus dot 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 all the way till n. So that means this would be 20n plus 4, 19 times 20 over 2. And that's 20n plus 190 times 4, which is 760. And therefore 20n would be 1640, and therefore n would be 82. 82 rows is the answer.